friend or my friends. I think there's about 20 of you right now. It's it has been said that if you give of yourself in some way, even if it's just one person, it is enough. It's enough to make a difference, and I hope to make a difference in a few people's lives. I certainly did that while I was counseling, and it was great. The feedback I got from clients was wonderful, and I miss that at times. So here I am, Sue Johnston, retired counselor, senior, and sharing my notes about grieving. And I'm actually, much to my surprise, reaching a place, I think, where things are feeling better. So we didn't think that could happen, did we? So I'm going to share from my notes. And actually, I just thought about my last statement. We didn't think that could happen. Of course, that's the goal. Of course, we thought that could happen. Anyway, there we are. As I share these notes, I am sharing various techniques and things that happen to us as we go through grieving. And although the catalyst for me has been losing my wee furry friend Billy, the notes are general. The notes are about any kind of grieving that you may go through, whether it's the loss of a marriage, the loss of a home, the loss of a connection with a child, the loss of a family member, loss of income, whatever the loss is, there's a need to grieve. And what I'm sharing in these notes, in these successive videos, are very, I want to say standard, but they're things that you can go through and likely will go through. And it's important to grieve your losses so that you can actually reach a place where you're stronger in the end. That does happen to us. So I will be sharing from my notes and sharing some pictures, and I'm running out of pictures to put in here so as I read my notes. So I thought, well, I'll just at some point come back on camera and read my notes, and I may just add to them as I go along. So bear with me. Sunday evening, 8:50 p.m. There are a lot of phrases that got used around our house. Want to go outside? It's nice out. Where's Bailey? Don't let the cat out. Have you caught that mouse yet? You want a wee treat? You want some milk? Here comes the mooch. She wants to eat our lunch again. Oh, look, she wants out. Out in the garage. Open the door for her, please. It's bedtime, Bailey. You coming? I'm going to my art room now, Bailey. You want to come with me? Come on. Here's the green book. I know you love to lie on it. Come on, you can make it. You can jump up. Come on. You're the best cat ever. I love you, Bailey. I never felt love for a cat before, but I felt it with Bailey. Now, if I could have a conversation with her, well, maybe at least tonight, it would go like this. Bailey, I was thinking that if you don't improve by Friday, June 24, that I'll have to think about taking you to the vet to ease your pain. It would be the big sleep. I choose the date, June 24. I think I can manage that. And Billy would say, I choose June 18. Me. So I was thinking June 24th, but you choose the 18th? Why? I would have liked more time with you. Couldn't you have just stayed maybe even 2 more years and not got worse? Bailey, but I did get worse. Things were not improving. You saw how it was for me overnight. I didn't just sleep on the quilt and have a quiet night. I moved about. I was in the corner by the toilet. I used my box. I went over by the door. There's these little dribbles. You know how it looked. Things weren't good for me. Did you see how my legs were twitching involuntarily? I had one paralyzed leg that twitched, and my other good leg was also starting to twitch. Yes, you called me the adaptable cat, but things were not getting better. I left you 2 messages, one at the front door, one at the garage door. A little pee, a little poo. You figured it out. I chose June 18. Me. Yes, Bailey, we make our plans, but the final outcome's often different than we planned. I just wish I could have had more time with you. I miss you terribly. You were the best cat ever. I want you back. Bailey. You know that's not possible. I'm still near you, in body, in the garden, but not alive. I'm with you in memories. You gave me a good life, especially all my favorite treats. That kept me going for a while. You would have chose June 24. I chose June 18. Monday, June 20. Journal notes. What if death was like a graduation present, a ceremony? We live life, pass all the lessons and exams, and finally graduate. The graduation takes you to a whole new world, a place of peace, no pain, no more tears. Loss is inevitable in life. We deal with it more than we realize. Early in life, we may think of it as bad luck, failure, mistakes. No matter the term we use, loss is part of our life, and with every loss, there is grieving. As a senior, we find we are dealing with all kinds of loss. We lose sight, maybe not completely, but it begins to change. Our hearing abilities change. Our strength changes. We lose friends. Sometimes we lose possessions. We may lose our favorite place to be. Perhaps we've had to change our residence, maybe downsizing. Sometimes we lose our favorite movie star or music artist. I always loved watching Band of Brothers, but each year when I watch it, I find that I get stuck with the reality that all the persons portrayed in the stories have all passed away. With every loss, there was a grieving, a time where we feel sad, a time of adjustment. Ancient wisdom writings say there is a time for everything, and you probably have heard that very popular song. At least it used to, when I was growing up, it was on the radio quite a bit. I think it was done by the Birds. To every season, there is a time to live, a time to die, a time to rejoice. We lose persons, places, things, and each had its mark in our life. Each played a part, sometimes a very big part. Sometimes we have a choice over loss, like letting go of a favorite piece of furniture, which my girlfriend laughs at me over, but she always says I get attached to my things, and I do appreciate what I have, and I hate to let things go. I like to keep them a long time, so when something has to go, there's a tiny little bit of grieving that occurs. Sometimes life itself chooses a loss, like losing a beloved pet. While the first few days after Bailey was gone, I felt like none of my prayers were answered, because I did pray. I prayed that she would fall asleep, that she could die naturally, that I wouldn't have to make that terrible, horrible, worst decision in my life choice. So she didn't pass away in her sleep. But I must trust that God in His wisdom chose the best for me. In my notes, I have words like grieving, sadness, loss, pain, heartbreak, hurt, a deep sense of missing. It's often very, very useful to spend some time writing down your words, what you feel, even if you could only do a word in a line. It doesn't have to be a big, full expression. I'm used to expressing myself in writing. I'm used to writing, so for me, it's a great way to grieve and process things. Grieving is a process. It comes in waves. It's important to allow the loss and sadness have its flow. We need to be careful not to let it consume us. We allow its flow gradually, and then we accept the changes. And none of that is easy, especially in the beginning. We accept the feelings and know that there is an ebb and a flow to our sadness. And gradually we reach a place of remembering how it was. We remember without pain. It's possible to get to that place. I play a game with myself. I still do it, which I think is helping. Sometimes I pretend that Bailey is still here in the house, sleeping somewhere, on my bed, on her little bed in the living room. I pretend. To help my grieving, to ease the sadness, sometimes I pretend she's still here. Any minute now, she will jump up onto my bed and look for the green book that she used to sleep on. The green book was her mark, the spot to land. She's the one that started that little habit. This particular green book became her favorite. If it wasn't the green book, she wouldn't get on it. I could have a magazine there. It's like, no, it's got to be the green book. I could lay out a different book, but the green one was always met with ready acceptance. And sometimes I pretend she's sleeping under my bed, like she was when she wasn't feeling good. She was hiding, or sleeping under the kitchen table by the sliding doors. Sometimes I pretend she's out in the kitchen looking for a wee treat from Stan, or getting her back scratched. Sometimes I pretend she's out in the garage looking for mice, or outside hiding in the bushes hoping to surprise a chipmunk. She loved to be near me, and that's what I miss the most. I wish her to be near me now. I want her back, and I can't have her, and I miss her. In the beginning of my grieving, sometimes the only words I could think was, I want her back. As if she was taken to the vets and she's all better now, and I go and I bring her home. Sometimes when we're grieving, we look for some kind of information, something to hold on to that we can use to help us feel more peaceful, to feel okay. When Bentley, our Manx cat, we had him 2 years before Bailey. When he passed, the piece of information that helped me was that he was no longer in pain. Now, Bentley was 18 years old, and he had cancer for 1.5 years at the end of his life. And I couldn't stop crying for the week that he was first gone. But then it just hit me like an arrow in the night that he was no longer in pain. And somehow that was the thing that I was able to hook all my other feelings onto. And then I was okay. When Missy Katz, we had while we had Bentley, when she passed, I don't know if there was a phrase or a line that helped me adjust. I do know that realizing the end of 18 years living came to her through renal failure. And I think knowing that she had 18 years shared life with me, it helped me realize that it was time. It just seemed a little easier to do. But Bailey was different. I would have liked a few more years with Bailey. I hoped to reach my 70th year before she passed. The average age for Maine Coons is 12.5 years. I had read that they could live anywhere between 10 and 15 years, and I was hoping for 15. I didn't get it. Seeing Bailey hop around with a lame leg in many respects was amazing. She seemed to adjust so well to the loss. She even took off suddenly to chase a chipmunk out of our garden. I was calling her the wee adjustable cat. You're my wee adjustable cat. June 2nd, she was still okay. She would have a day here and there where she'd hide out all day. Sometimes I'd give her an aspirin. She did not like the pill being put down her throat, and she often pretended to swallow. She was pretty smart, and walk away and then spit it out. Giving a baby aspirin seemed to help. It gave her more mobility. I think it helped with her pain, which really we have no way of measuring an animal's pain. I don't think we do. Maybe a vet knows. They can examine, and the gut can be full of poop and backed up, and they know that this is an uncomfortable, painful condition for them. But really, it's not like they can walk up and say, "Hey, I'm in pain. Give me something." On her last few days, I noticed she'd take a few steps and then sit for a moment. That was an indication of pain. And in retrospect, I guess she was perhaps hurting more than she could let on. I could say to myself, she's no longer in pain, and I suppose that helps me a little. But now I'm in pain. Writing about her, I know, will help, because I often process things through writing. Creating a movie or a book about Bailey will help, which I've done for myself as well as this. I find I want to be able to hold on to something that was Bailey's. I washed the quilt we used to give her to lie on, and in the last night I put it in the main bathroom for her so that she could lie on that. I washed it, and now I'm using it to sleep with at night. Her toys and catnip hearts are still by her bed under the TV stand. I will keep them there. I don't know for how long, but they will stay as long as I need them. Maybe forever. That's how I feel right now. Today is one of those days where I can hardly wait for work to begin. It seems like a long morning when you wake up and get up at 5:30. I went to bed earlier and had about 7 hours sleep. For now, I need to indulge in distraction and give my emotions some reprieve, and work will do that for me. I have about 5 or 6 hours of work today, so I'm grateful for that. And distraction is a key to help the emotions take a rest, to help distract you for a while, to help you think about something else for a while. I know I said I'm retired, but I do work part-time for a greeting card company, which is such a reprieve, really, from counseling. At work, while I'm grieving, I find myself placing a pack of greeting cards into their appropriate pocket. And I find that I'm pushing them in and stuffing them in like, "You're going to go in there." Maybe they're resisting. Something's caught in a corner and I'm pushing down. "You are going to go in." And I push hard. And then I realize that there's a bit of anger behind my action. I'm not angry with the cards. I'm not angry with work. I'm angry that life has brought this grief, loss, and sorrow to me. We are never really ready for these things. We know we can't have what we have forever. And while we have what we have, it's important to enjoy it to its fullest extent. Well, I actually managed to get through this. Not too bad. One way that you know that you are healing is when you can visit certain places or persons or things, or even just mentally go there and remember certain things and not feel the intensity of pain and loss that you have, but just to know that you are gradually changing And that's a strange process. I'm going to try to analyze it through these videos, of course, because I like to analyze things. But ultimately, I think what it comes down to is it's just something that happens to us. We adjust, the emotions adjust, and we do get to that place where we can visit all the memories, all the things, and feel okay. It's not that you love less or that you care less. You care just the same, but the intensity of it begins to lose its grip on you. And I think maybe what happens is love flows into the hurting places. That's our hope.